This is Stacey McKibben with the Master Communicator podcast, where CEOs, C-suite executives, and senior leaders share their advice. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best leaders know how to share their ideas concisely and quickly. Let's jump right in. Question number 1. In a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
Sure. So Jaime Chambron, I'm Vice President of Professional Services for a global digital commerce technology company called Kibo Commerce. Also at this time, I'm homeschooling 2 elementary school boys. And while every day is different, my focus is on leading a team to help our customers get onboarded with our technology, use it, and get value out of our solutions every day.
That's amazing. Well, I'll be really excited to kind of hear your perspective, kind of coming from that unique perspective and background. Question number 2 for you. What's the best thing about leading people from your perspective?
I love seeing people grow and get to just another level of potential and seeing their potential just grow and make a difference.
So I'm curious, you've probably been leading teams for a little while now, is growing something that, growing people, is that something that all individuals want to do? Or do you find sometimes as a leader, you want people to grow more than they want to grow themselves?
It's definitely the latter, that there's definitely people that like the status quo and, or they're comfortable in what they do, but it's really hard to do that in a world that's constantly changing nowadays. So encouraging people to adapt.
Yeah, and I think in really kind of, figuring out new ways that they can, develop kind of a version of their personal best, if you will. And doesn't necessarily always have to be about a promotion or a career trajectory, right? And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people need to pay attention to when it comes to this leadership, that oftentimes it's about helping the individual to develop just some additional skills, not necessarily about where they need to go trajectory-wise in the organization.
Absolutely.
So I often hear from other leaders that business would be great if it weren't for that pesky people part. I'm curious, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the people. So we're in services, you're people-centric, you're customer-centric, employee-centric as well. And they're the ones that actually make a difference in making sure our clients get the value out of what we provide them. It's not just the technology, it's the full end-to-end experience that people is a part of that equation.
Absolutely. I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase systems run the business, but people run your systems. As much as you'd like to, you're still in a people business. As much as you'd like to get away from it.
Yep, absolutely.
What other successful business leaders like yourself should be on the podcast? What other strong community people are out there making a voice and, making waves and all that kind of stuff that we should be listening to?
So definitely, I'm my company's within the Vista portfolio, which is a private equity firm, and the leader itself, Robert Smith, I think would be a great candidate for your show.
Excellent. One of the things I always like to tell folks is pay attention to the people that are around you and in your backyard. I mean, I think, again, there's a lot of leaders that are right around you that can make a big difference in some of the things that we learn. And Jaime, I love that your son just popped into the background there. Again, I think this is something that we're all dealing with and living now. And, as leaders, I think it's important for us to show, kind of the full breadth of the vulnerability and the realities of the life that we're all leading, right? So I love that. That's great. And that's a cute puppy too. What piece of advice about communication would you give to other leaders?
Yeah, so my biggest thing here, and I see this every day, is we really need to be more intentional and think about, think through the why, the what, the who, the when, the where, and the how before we deliver, especially very critical updates and changes. I think also we as leaders we're moving really fast right now. We don't know what's next. We really need to take a step back and think through the different channels we're using, so we don't miss an opportunity to someone to really understand what we're trying to communicate and make a difference on what they're doing.
I love the way you say that, because I've heard, to this question, a lot of the what and the why, but I love the way you kind of talk about the who, what, when, where, why, how, almost kind of the way a journalist might explore a story, is to kind of think about it through that lens. What's the value from your perspective of some of the other pieces of, not just the what and the why, but the how and the when and all those things?
Yeah, the how and the when is so critical, because especially since there's so many communication channels today, you've got to use the right one for the right message and timing. And maybe it's a series of it's kind of like people, you don't really understand it so you hear it 3 times and maybe 3 different ways. And some people read things better than listen to it. So you've just got to be also intentional and understand your audience to make sure you're getting the message out to in the right way.
Oh, I love that. Speak to your audience, right? Which means you got to know who you're talking to. All right, magic question number 6 for you. Tell us about your favorite boss or teacher. Who's really influenced you?
So my favorite boss is who's put me on the trajectory that I'm on today. And it's actually a duo. It's actually a direct manager of mine and his boss. I worked with them probably back 2006 when I started. And they helped me understand not just how to run a consulting practice, but really each of them taught me something different. One of them taught me how to also be a great leader, and the other one worked with me on how to be a great communicator. So that was really valuable in getting me to where I am today and what I keep doing.
That's amazing, and how blessed to be able to have so many people around you that can help you to do some of those things. Do you find yourself paying it forward to some of the people on your team?
I do, especially with some of the work we're doing right now and the leaders I've brought together from some different acquisitions. It's been fun to find raw talent that just needs a little extra polish to get to, again, that next level of growth and shine in their own careers.
You remind me of another guest who said something about you have to really believe in people. And what you're kind of describing there is you see potential and you're believing in them, and that confidence that you're now instilling is going to carry them forward. So I really love that. Thank you so much for being on the show. I just really appreciated your perspective. If people wanted to reach out, how might they find you, or where should they go to connect?
I think the easiest way to find me is on LinkedIn. My last name is pretty unique, just in that /Chambron, and you'll find me. Connect with me there.
That's amazing. Well, I really appreciate it again, and thank you so much for your time. This is Stacey McKibben with the Master Communicator Podcast. For more ideas and insights, please do go check us out at www.concilioteam.com. And we look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care.